It was a slow, golden Sunday morning inside Maple and Hearth Family Diner, the kind of little restaurant where sunlight falls warm through tall windows, where the smell of butter and syrup mixes with soft jazz, and where strangers sit close enough to hear each other's laughter, or silence. At table 14 sat Mark Ellington, a man who wore success like a second skin. Navy coat, polished watch, calm posture, the quiet confidence of someone who had learned how to win in boardrooms, but had forgotten how to simply be in moments. Across from him, swinging her small legs beneath the chair, sat his 8-year-old daughter, Lily Ellington. Bright hazel eyes, golden curls tied in a ribbon, and a pink notebook she carried everywhere, filled not with princesses or unicorns, but drawings of people she noticed in the world. People she wished she could help. People her father never paid attention to. That morning, she had drawn none of them yet. Because she was staring at the table beside them. At a woman with tired eyes. A woman who kept her smile soft so her little boy wouldn't feel the weight she carried. Her name was Sarah Coleman, a single mother in a worn gray sweater. Her hands were gentle, but her fingertips red from dishwashing shifts. Across from her, wearing a hoodie that had been patched 3 times, sat her son Noah, 6 years old, small, quiet, and swinging his legs the way kids do when they're hungry but trying to hide it. Sarah cut her single pancake into 2 small pieces and slid the bigger one toward her son. Sarah, eat, baby. Mommy's fine. But her stomach growled loud enough that even Lily heard it. Lily froze. Her father did not notice. Businessmen don't often hear hunger unless it appears as silence in a meeting. But Lily, she did. She always noticed things that went unnoticed. She looked down at her own plate. 2 warm pancakes, fresh berries, whipped cream, and then back at the boy next to her. Her lips trembled. Her throat tightened. And she whispered words that would shatter everything in the best possible way. Lily soft. Dad, can I share with them? Mark blinked. He wasn't used to questions that held so much heart in so little sound. Mark. Share what, sweetheart? But Lily didn't look at him. She didn't look away from Noah. Lily. My breakfast. He's hungry. Mark finally turned to see them clearly, really see them, for the first time. The single mom who tried to hide her worry in tiny smiles. The little boy pretending he wasn't starving. The bills Sarah kept looking at every 30 seconds. As if praying numbers would magically change. A quiet ache formed in Mark's chest, a place he hadn't felt anything for a long time. He swallowed. Mark. Lily, we don't know them. Lily finally looked at him. And in her eyes was something rare. The simple, unfiltered truth children understand before adults teach them to ignore it. Lily. But we don't have to know them to be kind. Something inside Mark cracked. Or opened. He didn't know which. He took a slow breath, stood up, placed his napkin down, and said words he never expected to say that morning. Mark. Let's go talk to them. Lily's entire face lit up like morning sunlight. She hopped off the chair, clutching her little pink notebook, and walked towards Sarah and Noah with tiny, brave steps. Mark followed, not as a millionaire, not as a businessman, but as a father trying to catch up with the goodness he had somehow forgotten. Lily stopped beside the table. She looked at Noah and smiled shyly. Lily. Hi. I like your hoodie. Noah blinked, surprised. He looked down at the faded, patched fabric, then back at her. And he smiled too. Noah. It's my favorite. Sarah looked up quickly, startled. Sarah. Oh. Hello, is everything okay? Mark cleared his throat. Mark. My daughter wanted to ask if she could share her breakfast with your son. Sarah's face fell into an emotion she tried desperately to hide, shame. Not because she was embarrassed, but because some part of her felt she had failed her boy. Sarah, forcing a smile. That's very sweet. But we're fine. Her words said fine. Her voice said please don't look too closely. Her eyes said we're barely surviving. Lily stepped closer, voice small but brave. Lily. He's hungry. And I have more than enough. Noah turned red, embarrassed. Sarah held her breath, like the world might collapse. Mark knelt beside his daughter and spoke gently. Mark, we'd like to buy you both breakfast. No expectations. Just kindness. Sarah's composure cracked. Her lips parted. Her eyes filled instantly. Not with weakness. Not with need. But with relief, the rare kind that appears only after carrying too much alone for too long. She nodded silently. And that was enough. They pushed the tables together. For the first time in months, maybe years. Sarah and Noah weren't alone. Mark ordered 2 full breakfasts for them. Sarah whispered, almost apologetically. Sarah. You didn't have to. Mark. I know. But Lily wasn't listening to any of the adults. She was watching Noah's eyes widen at the sight of warm food. She was watching Sarah's shoulders relax for the first time. She was watching change unfold. She opened her notebook. Lily. Do you draw? Noah nodded shyly. Noah. Superheroes. Lily gasped. Lily. No way. Me too. She flipped the notebook to a page of a superhero girl with a big heart on her chest. Noah lit up like someone handed him sunlight. Sarah watched her son laugh, a real laugh, full and bright and free. And she lowered her head as tears slipped quietly down her cheeks. For the first time in a long time. She wasn't holding everything together alone. Mark glanced at Sarah, really noticing her now. She looked like someone who had fought too many battles without armor. Someone who stayed strong so her child would never feel the storms she walked through. Mark. So, what do you do, Sarah? She exhaled slowly. Sarah. I was a teacher. Haven't been able to get back into a full-time position yet. I clean offices in the evenings to keep us afloat. Mark nodded, thoughtful. Lily leaned over and whispered. Lily. Dad, she reminds me of Mom. Mark's heart twisted. He hadn't heard his late wife mentioned in months. Sarah caught a bit of the conversation and looked up softly. Sarah. You lost her? Mark nodded. Mark. 3 years ago. Sarah's eyes grew warm with empathy, the kind that can't be faked. Sarah. I'm so sorry. Noah rested his head against his mom's arm, protective without knowing why. Lily reached across the table and touched Sarah's hand. Lily. It's okay. My dad smiles more when he helps people. Maybe today, you're helping him too. Sarah covered her mouth, overwhelmed again. Mark stared at his daughter, amazed at how often she could speak truths adults avoided. After they finished eating, Mark stood up. Mark. Can I ask something? Sarah looked nervous, worried he might ask something personal, or worse, something she couldn't give. Mark. Do you have any plans today? I thought maybe we could take the kids to the park. Let them play. Sarah blinked. Completely stunned. She wasn't used to invitations. She wasn't used to people wanting her around. Sarah. Oh no, you don't have to. Lily. Please come. Noah draws superheroes and I draw superheroes and you look like a superhero's mom. Noah giggled. Sarah put a hand over her heart, overwhelmed. Sarah. Yes. Okay. We'd love to. And just like that. A single meal. Between two strangers. Turned into something else entirely. Connection. Understanding. A beginning. The children ran across the grass, laughing, chasing each other, comparing superhero drawings. Mark and Sarah sat on a bench, watching them. A comfortable silence settled, the kind that only happens between people who understand pain and strength. Finally, Sarah spoke. Sarah. I'm sorry if I seemed hesitant earlier. People don't usually help us. Not anymore. Mark looked at her. Mark. You shouldn't have to apologize for surviving. She smiled softly. Sarah. Sometimes surviving feels like failing. He shook his head gently. Mark. You're doing more alone than most people do with entire support systems. Her throat tightened. She whispered. Sarah. I just want him to have a chance. The life I couldn't give. Mark looked at Noah, jumping, laughing, alive. Mark. You're already giving him everything that matters. Hours passed. The sun dipped lower. The kids drew superheroes in the grass while Mark and Sarah talked about fears, dreams, bills, hope, the things strangers don't usually share. Finally, Mark inhaled deeply. He hadn't planned to say it, but he said it anyway. Mark, what if I help you get back on your feet? Sarah froze. Sarah. I can't take charity. Mark. It's not charity. It's a start. You were a teacher. Lily could use tutoring. Noah could use stability. And I could use someone with a good heart around my daughter. Sarah looked stunned. No one had seen her value in a long time. Sarah. You're serious? Mark nodded, slow and steady. Mark. Let me help. Let me give you a chance. A tear dropped from Sarah's eye. Then another. She didn't hide them this time. Sarah. Okay. Yes. Lily and Noah ran back to the bench excitedly. Lily. Dad! Noah said his superhero can fly. Noah. And hers can fix people's hearts. Mark smiled, then looked at Sarah. Mark. Sounds like both of them take after their mothers. Sarah laughed. A sound full of life and hope. A sound she hadn't made in years. Over the next weeks everything changed. Sarah began tutoring Lily. Noah stayed after school with Lily and laughed more than ever. Mark arranged interviews, helped Sarah find a better job, and ensured Noah got new clothes and school supplies. But more importantly, they became a family. Not instantly. Not magically. Slowly. Gently. Like healing. Like sunrise. Lily would often whisper to her father. Lily. I'm glad we shared breakfast that day. Mark would pull her close and say, Mark. You didn't share breakfast, sweetheart. You shared our lives. She would smile softly, understanding in the simple way children do. Lily. Do you think Mom would be proud? Mark looked at her. Then at Sarah reading with Noah on the couch. Then at the home filled with laughter again. Mark. She'd be very proud. And every night, when Sarah tucked Noah into a clean bed in their new apartment, she whispered, Sarah. Thank you, Lily, for seeing us. In a world full of noise, money, pride, rush, and distance. Sometimes, it takes a child, with a soft voice, and a brave heart, to start the kind of miracle adults forget to believe in. Just one small sentence. Dad, can I share with them? And 3 lives. changed forever. Not because of wealth. Not because of charity. Not because of luck. But because kindness, simple, honest kindness, still has the power to rewrite destinies.